In this document, we're going to review how the course is delivered. This means we're going to look at different components and different aspects and activities in the class, from lectures and tutorials and as well as assessments, and to see how those activities are related. The best way to approach this is to look at figure 1 at the end of the document. In this figure, we have indicated graphically how different components of the course are related through assessments. We're going to have asynchronous content, which means content that is delivered, uploaded to Moodle, and you can approach this content in your own time. We're going to assume that you keep up with this content every week, and there is a flow to these activities. So the boxes in blue on the left-hand side of the screen represent the asynchronous content, which you can do in your own time. We've also numbered these activities from 1 to 7. These represent a sequence that we suggest you use to go through this content. So to start off with, we're going to look at lectures. Lectures will be pre-recorded, placed on Moodle, and this is your starting point because the lectures will provide you with the underlying theory and concepts that will later feed into the rest of the course. So it's very important that you keep up with the lectures. There will also be commentary provided on the lectures from tutors. Now, this will not be a summary or a revision of the lecture. It may be more a representation of some of the key aspects or aspects of the course that the tutor thinks should be highlighted. Now we have this sequence in that the commentary assumes that you've already watched and understood those lectures. In addition, we're going to provide questions, multiple choice comprehension questions that help you judge how well you're keeping up with the content in the course every week. We're going to ask you to complete those comprehension questions every week after you have watched the videos. Now, these comprehension questions are not graded on performance. It's more for your own understanding, for your own judgment of how well you're comprehending. And if it turns out that there were a lot of questions that you may not be getting right, we suggest you revisit this sequence again so that you improve your understanding. We're going to give you marks for effort. So we're going to, every week, there's going to be a small percentage of marks allocated to completing those comprehension questions. But like we said, whether you get everything right or not is not the point here. The point is that you're using these comprehension questions to judge how well you're following the content in the course. You will also notice there are certain arrows, and those fit into these purple boxes, which are the assessment boxes. So in this class, we're going to have a number of quizzes. As you can see, the arrows flow from asynchronous content, which is the lectures, commentary, and comprehension questions, to quiz questions. Now, this indicates that most of the quizzes that you will do will be based on content from the lectures. And we're going to reinforce that content through questions in the quiz. Quiz questions may involve short answer questions, multiple choice, or essay type questions, and there'll be more information on those specifically when we discuss assessments. There's also a forum where after you have watched all the lectures, gone through the content, you may still have questions. You may still have something that needs clarification. You'll be able to put those questions or points or comments onto the forum, and lecturers and tutors should be participating in that forum and answering your questions whenever they get time. And also other students may comment and try to answer your questions. What we have also is a link from what we call synchronous content into the assessments. So synchronous content means that you have to be synchronized with the lecturer and the other students at the same time to be able to interact. And those will mainly involve webinars where at set periods of time during the course, there will be a webinar allowing you to meet and interact with the other students in the course, engage in discussions with your tutor and also with other students, and ask questions about any of the aspects of the course in terms of the assessments. For instance, there will be a webinar focused on group formation and group projects. There will be a webinar related to the model of consumer behavior, which is the underlying foundation of this course, where towards the end of the course, there will be the last quiz, quiz number 4, that will ask you specifically to come up with your own interpretation, your own version of a model of consumer behavior. This is an important aspect of the course because as we provide content for you, this acts as building blocks or bricks, and it will be your job to actually integrate this into a comprehensive and connected model of consumer behavior. You'll be looking at building connections and associations between different aspects of the course. And we'll, of course, will help you do this through synchronous sessions and information that we place on Moodle. But it will be very important for you to actually elaborate and understand the constructs, think through those, and come up with your own interpretation of a model of consumer behavior that you can represent in quiz 4 at the end of the course to sum up your overall understanding how everything is connected in this course. There's also an assessment, which is the group project. And in this assessment, we're going to ask you to write multiple choice questions. Now, this is a novel way of testing knowledge because unlike simply testing your memory of content or testing your ability to elaborate and think through the content, to be able to ask a question, to be able to write a multiple choice question, you have to form what's called a meta understanding. That is an understanding of how things are understood. By taking a meta understanding, you're developing a much deeper appreciation of how the constructs in the course are related. And there will be another document that will discuss specifically on each of these aspects of assessment, but specifically on how to write these multiple choice questions. For now, it's important for you to understand that the course has a sequence, that sequence is related to assessments, and that we're going to rely heavily on your own ability to learn in your own time through asynchronous content, and link this asynchronous content with discussions and assessments. So in this document, as you read through it, you will find a description of lectures, tutorials, and we're going to try to share as much of this content as possible. So even though there are synchronous sessions, we'll do our best to record those sessions and place them on Moodle so that you can always review them in time. This document also contains a table which may be relevant for you that outlines each of those activities in the course. And those activities are related by different stakeholders, so students, tutors, and lecturers, and what are the responsibilities of each. So it's up to you to review this document, and it outlines an overall structure of the course that should be helpful to you in how you approach studying in this course.